Hello and welcome to Torg's Day Night on the Ulysses International Channel. I am Jay, your GM, and we have a very special event over these next 2 weeks. We've brought the Horseman campaign to a close. If you did not get a chance to see our finale there, please go check it out. It's live on YouTube on the Ulysses International Channel. But tonight, it being the season, I felt like we should do a special two-part episode this week, Torg's Day Night, and next Torg's Day Night. We're going to return to that wonderful Storm Knight team known as Bureau G. And as I set the scene several weeks ago, there was that incident with the Horseman where some people say in the streets they saw a pterodactyl cause a helicopter to go flying into a building and rain, burning petrol and metal and helicopter parts down on the ground. EMTs and EMT drones were all over the scene. And as parts of the building fell, there was damage to the infrastructure of Shanghai. There was damage to the some of the drones involved. But for the most part, there was a remarkably dramatic less loss of life. But now we are here several weeks later. The snow is falling in Shanghai. The moon is out. There are lights and paper lanterns lit up everywhere. It is that festive time of year that we find ourselves in. And so without further ado, we're going to get into a two-part tale of holiday horror and cheer known as the Stupidest drone. So with me tonight is Bureau G. Welcome, gentlemen. We have Auditor 17, played by Greg, Sanjiro, played by also Greg, and then Joe Asakura, played by Ben. Welcome, gentlemen. And as we jump into this mess, as the snow is falling, you guys have heard rumblings that a certain vice president of security who was very displeased with Auditor 17's actions at the previous Bureau G episode. Check it out on the YouTube, Ulisses National YouTube channel. Had called for, the heads of Bureau G should put out a bounty on the team. Although Frenchie has not been seen for several weeks. There's been no sign that no unidentified headless bodies, no rumors of heads. In fact, it was, you guys heard through the grapevine from Maru that the Horseman actually used Kanala's own advanced 3D printing technology to basically print your heads, put them in duffel bags. I feel like there's a movie title or some stuff. But anyway, and deliver them. So it was only 4 heads, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to start off with, it is Christmas Eve in Pan Pacifica. So we'll start with Joe here. Joe, what are you doing on Christmas Eve in Pan Pacifica before sort of this call to action?
Oh, Joe would be at a bar in the corner, deep in the shadows, and deep into his second bottle of whatever. And he would be mourning memories and compatriots lost.
All right. Hello to everyone in the chat, to Shanghai, to Phantom and Rook. Thank you for the sub bomb. Always good to see you. Evan, good to see you as well. Everyone else who I would normally say hi to are sitting here on screen with me. So, Sanjiro, what would you be doing here on Christmas Eve? Did we lose you?
Who's up?
You are.
You're cut for a second. Just for a second. Okay. All right. Well, Sanjuro would be in his place that looked very much like this, in a kind of a very Spartan Zen, kind of almost dojo-esque location, sitting on his rice mat, and meditating and pondering his most recent scattered and incoherent dream that he does not understand. Something, names he doesn't know, and faces he only sees in his dream.
All right. And then Auditor 17, how is Auditor 17 spending his Christmas Eve here?
So there are like dozens of people screaming and shouting and throwing stuff. He's on his headset says, repeat, repeat. There's no living land play set with realistic dino action. Repeat, there is no living land play set with realistic dino action. Please advise. All right. And you just see him dive into the crowd.
Is that Mrs. 17?
That's the crew that I live with, yes.
Lipstick 6.
Yeah.
All right. So Army crawling out from under the crowd, having made his way out with the living land set, still with no dino action. You guys, all of your Zuzus go off, but before that, we're going to cut away to a bunch of people screaming, not in terror, not in fright, but in concern. A small group of people knotted around a man who is clutching his chest, leaning up against a couch. There's a massive tree with lights. There are plates of fine foods. Most of the people here are in tuxedos and very fine dress. And someone's like, no, don't worry. I will call an EMT drone. They'll be here faster. It'll be fine. They'll be able to fix him up. And somewhere along the lines, one of the drones that was at the scene of the Horseman's helicopter crash gets the call, wobbles up, and starts flying towards this tall building that looks as if it's in the process of, the final 90% of it is done. The glass, the lights, the neon, it stands as this shining silver pillar in the center of downtown Shanghai. And that's when you all get the call from the Delphi Council. Maru reaching out. There's an incident going on at Tononaki Plaza. It was a routine EMT alert. There was a medical issue. We have footage that there were drones sent in to deal with whatever was going on. The building has since gone into lockdown. We don't know what exactly is going on. However, we know two things. One, there's a rare opportunity to get one of you inside the building to access the mainframes on the 22nd floor. As always, anything you recover will aid us in this shadow war that we find ourselves in. However, more disturbingly, and there's a little data file that is uploaded to your Zuzus. Hitting play, you can see now you can see this, it looks like a massive corporate Christmas party, except there are dozens dead, people ripped apart, and you can see a shadow in the corner of something large hunched over somebody, clearly chewing on them, before finally throwing the body in the direction of the camera, and everything goes to white. We have no way to get you into the building. None of the access codes will work. But we need you to find a way in, deal with the threat, and use the confusion and the chaos as cover for both a data extraction, and I'm uploading let's call it a digital backdoor to have you install on this Kanawa server, if you can do it. Also, as always, if there's anyone who needs out, any innocents, I expect you to do your duty as Storm Knights and protect them. Good luck,
All right.
BROG.
We're on it. Fortunately, we have Joe, who's an expert at entering buildings not meant to be entered. So,
All right. Nearly 45 minutes later, the three of you find yourselves at a parking garage looking, because that's where the BROG shines, at the plaza across the way. It has been cordoned off by corporate security forces. They are shining lights on the building, but you can see something has broken the glass on the 19th floor, and there are several large, let's call them snow angels, in the ground around the base of the building. All right, BROG, what's the plan?
What color are these snow angels?
Red.
Yeah, they're a little bit red.
Significant amount of red.
Yeah.
Yeah, just check it. It's Christmas. Let's go check some mistletoe on there and we're all set.
That's right. It's definitely one half of the Christmas colors.
Well, I would ask Sanjuro, or is your name 13 now?
Never call me that.
Could you put the auditor behind you on the bike? I do like a half Nelson-y thing. You take off with the bike. I will use updraft at the right moment, plus air vehicles, and we'll fly ourselves right into the hole on the 19th floor.
How tall is this parking garage?
Well, you're about a block away. Is really more. It's not so much the height as it is the
Distance.
when it comes to the triangle.
Evil Knievel can't jump a block.
Not unless we start really, really, really high.
As always, if you would like a building a little closer or something to aid you in that, I would allow a requisition roll or even a possibility for a building that stands a little closer.
How about
Have we
an alertness card?
Joe, have you considered just flying in and opening the door? What could go wrong?
I'd be all alone. I'm kind of a scared little baby.
Who is that?
Well, I'll tell you what.
That really wants you to try jumping the pike. Just
Obviously jump the bike, but
Do we have a schematic of this building?
go ahead and anybody got computers?
yeah.
Auditor, go ahead and give me a computers test. This will be a challenging test, so a DN of 12. Not too difficult to get, but definitely not just lying about the place to have access to.
And I got 12 on the nose.
All right. Yes, you have access to the building schematics. What are you looking for, Sanjiro?
Is there what sort of underground and above access? Is there a helipad?
There is definitely a helipad. There's actually two. There's kind of a main one and then a smaller one from like kind of corporate, kind of smaller, little more shorter range air vehicles. Underground, there is a large kind of roundabout right in front of the main entrance. There are two service entrances, and there are two entrances into a fairly extensive four-story kind of beneath the building parking garage.
Those are all under surveillance by the local authorities.
They are definitely under surveillance by the local authorities, but when has that stopped you guys before? Now, are you playing that alertness card there, Sanjiro? All right. So Sanjiro, as you look around, there are two other buildings nearby that are definitely under construction as well. One of them lies only about 600 or 700 feet away from the plaza building, and with some, I don't know, maybe some minor engineering or explosive, maybe some percussive maintenance, you might be able to construct a ramp a little bit higher and a little bit closer to the building. I'll give you that information.
Does it have a crane on it?
I mean, sure.
How long is that crane?
Oh, it's one of the big ones for putting on, the
Right.
cranes that require other cranes to assemble them. This is one of those guys. One of those.
Is this one of the cranes that assembles itself after it gets to a certain height? They actually lift themselves up.
I mean, I feel like if there was ever something like that, it would be in Pan Pacifica. So we're going to call it yes.
All right. How long is its arm?
If I say long enough,
Or we could give the chat what they want and use the cable on the crane as a pendulum. We take off quickly. It prevents us from falling to the ground. We release at the highest point and get on the building.
Are we just going to try to lower ourselves under the roof?
Oh no, I think we want to double jump it. We jump, grab the crane swings, we release from the crane,
or
and then we go down.
combine it all into one sort of double bike jump.
Yes, I believe it will be exciting. It might even be an excite bike.
Right. Okay. How about this? We could load. Is there a platform that we can hook onto the crane?
Sure.
So like a cargo platform that we can then lower on to provide a slightly larger target for bike arrival.
All right. So you guys are getting on the construction building. Auditor 17, if I can get a computer's roll from you to kind of program the crane to get the platform that Sanjiro wants to ensure they don't fall to their deaths. Get it
Wow. So that's 27 total.
And what was your roll?
He does.
44.
Wait, your roll is 34. I have a
I have a drama card, and he has a glory card. Hold on. Do you need I can trade you a drama to boost that.
Would you like a flurry? Would you like a flurry for that?
No matter what.
All
Yeah,
right,
but
so
do we have a glory card between us? I mean,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
Sanjiro has a glory card. So
trade
he's
you a
gonna-
flurry for a drama?
Sure. I'll take that.
Okay. That doesn't quite do it, so I'll spend a possibility. There we go. 66.
This is the point in the game, nearly 3 years into running Torg, that JM realizes he needs to stop putting the word horror in the description of his one-shot episodes, because inevitably the first or second roll is a glory. All right, so a couple of things happen at once. First of all, we're going to let Greg, what is the glory, what does it look like when you glory here? Like, what's the ripple effect? What's the... yeah, go ahead. Like,
So,
how would you describe this going on?
I programmed the crane to do what they want and realize they have the exact same protocols as Sanjiro's bike. So they auto synchronize the jump. So he's got a computer aided display. So the timing and stuff, the acceleration. So it's like basically he's got the video game display in his head, tells him when's the hit, when the stuff. So they are working together to make the jump perfect.
Okay.
So
All right, so everyone, here are your new Destiny cards. Auditor 17, you get Maelstrom. Oh, come on, Ben gets another glory. And Sanjiro gets Hero. You all also receive one extra possibility.
woo,
And that will stay in effect, not just for this scene, or not just for this act, but for the next act. So basically, for the whole of our 2-week adventure, glory will be in effect. All right. So, Sanjiro, it all comes together. Like the math, the glorious crane operation, and
All right.
you sit on the end of this construction ramp that they have. You know, as Auditor 17 is furiously doing his thing, Joe is bringing over. I was gonna say like paint cans and wood pallets, but no, he finds like actual like rebar, bends it into position, puts down nice plates, even manages to find a way to attach.
Spot welds it.
Yeah,
Spot
like
welds it.
spot welds it. It is a thing of glory.
All right. I meanwhile am meditating on the approaching task.
Okay. All the ampersand says that you unlock the cheat codes for the crane. All right, so go ahead and give me your roll there.
All right.
Sandro.
So luckily, I have my trademark vehicle, which means that this test is favored.
Awesome.
So as I get on the back of his bike,
All right.
I take a couple of packing straps and attach the play set to me so it doesn't drop.
Yeah, don't let that playset. That is, I have that in my notes as the Indiana Jones hat that I'm going to keep trying taking away from us. So,
All right. Well, my roll is a 27 for a result of 21, and I don't feel any need to roll that again.
no, that is actually a good success. So you go racing. You pull back to the far side of the building. Right, gun the electric motor, tire squealing, let go. You didn't have to do that because it's an electric motor, but you go racing across the floor, rebar and concrete pillars racing past you. And there's this prime moment where you go arcing out, and one of the security guys kind of turns and shines the spotlight on you as you guys are kind of heading over. You land on the crane, and you don't know whether it's because of something that Auditor 17 programmed into. Maybe it's just that feeling of glory that is racing through you. Maybe it's a short in the system, but immediately there's a little bit of a surge, and all of the Christmas lights on the outside of the Plaza Tower just come on, spiraling in red and green and white all the way up. And then you bounce, and you hit, the thing kind of tilts a little bit, you go racing up again and arc beautifully, landing on top of the helipad, squealing to a stop.
And Joe flies up.
And then Joe flies up. Sorry, Joe.
I am the condor that squawks in the night.
Aren't you the condor that squawks in the night?
What condors were diurnal?
Yeah, condor. Oh, what sound does a condor make?
I don't know, but mad props for diurnal. That's one of my favorite words. Legitimately, I just adore that word. All right, so the three of you are on top of the main helipad. You can see kind of about 100 feet off to your left is the lower, kind of more executive helipad. You can see there are several large rings of like spindles of thick hose-like material hooked up to the building. You can see next to them there are axes and rebreather sets. There is a main there's a lift exit here. There is a stairwell exit here, and you can see that there's another lift entrance down on the executive helipad. This one's like glossy black and framed in gold and has a biometric scanner on it.
That's the one that we want.
Oh, I mean, we could. Sure, we could. However, what if you guys it took the 2 fire hoses and strapped them to your waist. Really, with a bowline tie. I mean, I know that if you use a bowline knot, it's not going to come undone. And I'll float down to exactly what'd you say, 20 seconds?
As you were thinking about this, you clearly hear the sounds of gunfire kind of rising up from below.
So I'll blow a hole in the window so you guys don't have to do it with your feet. And you use those fire hoses to rappel down the way any detective on vacation at Christmas would do.
I don't know. I really feel like the elevator is the way to go here.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
All right, auditor. What's the plan?
I say we go on the exterior. If there's gunfire that's rising, it sounds like it'd be rising on the elevator. So.
Great, there might not be enough room to use a sword in there. All right, let's go.
All right.
So you guys are attaching yourselves to the fire hose, and you are going to leap outside of the building, and you're going to count on Joe to break into the glass.
We are. We've seen his breaking skills. They work.
I applaud you all for leaning into the action Christmas movie tropes, and appreciate all of you. All right, so what I'm going to need is some sort of roll. Let me pull up my Torg book.
Well, I think I would have to fly, so that's going to be air vehicles. And then I think I would have to also throw my awesome bird missile, which explodes with a medium blast radius.
I'm sorry,
so at
did you
least
say bird missile?
Oh, I did say bird missile.
All right, yeah.
Question.
It's an explosive dart. But you know, and where I come from, we call it the bird missile because I love birds so much, especially condors. They have big wings and they coast, but also the swan, the eagle.
Very
These are
Yeah. Flip.
very cool birds.
Penguins.
So if we could, I feel like if we could stall it one round, so if Joe could get like into hover spot and aim.
Well, you guys are going to have to tie off. I'm going to call this a maneuver check. Well,
wait a minute. Hold on. Isn't the 22nd floor blown completely open?
Yes.
19th.
19th is blown open. 22nd is where the servers are at.
Because we could just go in the 19th, because then it's... I don't know. It's... Or, take the elevator.
But guys...
I say save 3 floors. Either way, you end up on an elevator, and an elevator dropping 20 floors, or, okay. Either way, the elevator is going to drop. 19 floors is going to drop 22 floors. Are you ready to survive an elevator that drops 20 floors?
Elevators have emergency brakes.
I assume that Auditor 17 is just tying himself off.
Yeah, I'm just tying myself, trying to adjust to the wind, taking a look at roughly how far down I've got.
Juro is remembering some ancient movie he saw from Core Earth years ago.
That's right.
Some guy thinking about, it's like, look, this is some guy on the top of a building and needing to get off the top of the building in a fire hose.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to have Sanjiro's with the multi-action air vehicle, and you've put me in this situation, Ben, and I promise to have my vengeance.
I'm Joe. You keep calling me Sanjiro.
I'm sorry. Joe is going to do this, and I will have my vengeance, Joe, but you fire your bird missile.
Bird is the word.
Oh, okay.
One.
Oh, no. Where'd you
Lost.
go? Okay, wait. I know what the first one was. Oh, it won't be as lucky. Now. Okay. You said you wanted a maneuver from me?
No, you're doing air vehicles and
easy
your
peasy.
missile.
Okay, so -2. My air vehicles is a 17.
All right, so with a flip and flourish, I assume you dive off the side of the building, stopping in midair, hovering, dare I say it, like a condor.
And then my missile weapons attack would be a 21.
Okay. Sanjiro and Auditor 17, as you stand by the edge of a very tall building, which I can only assume Sanjiro is like triple checking his fire hose.
Have we checked that the hoses are actually long enough for what we want to do?
Yeah, quick calculation. You definitely probably have enough to.
Definitely, probably. All right, off we go. See you down there, Auditor.
Hello to certified Torganic. Glad to have you back. You guys see an explosion. Window glass goes falling down. Cries rise up from below this time because it seems like falling glass is something that the security corp is agents are worried about. Let me get a maneuver roll from both of you. Because of the aid of the fire hoses and what Sanjiro is there for you, I'm going to give you both a +1 to this roll as you attempt a challenging swing.
It's a challenging. So I got a 15.
So that is a standard success.
Okay.
What did you get under 17?
I got a 9. So what I'm assuming is happening is I check, I look, I leap, and I'm pretty much on track, but the playset starts to come loose. I twist to grab the playset, tuck that in, have to roll, and then I just slam into the side of the building.
There is you. Luckily, like,
or he doesn't slam.
I wouldn't say self-preservation instincts kick in, but definitely instincts kick in, and you turn so you take the playset is safe, but you take it on the side of the face and the shoulder, and you take 2 shock from just hitting so hard. He is down on so when you hit, you sort of rotate a bit, and as you're looking there, you can see into the 19th floor. You've fallen 3-4 floors too much. Sanjiro, you are fine. And again, Joe kind of hovering there, you see this. But on number 17, as you look in, you can see the situation is not quite as you left it when you saw the video. You can see now that most of the bodies have been cleaned up. People have actually pulled their friends and allies, almost as if maybe something recently inspired them to make a stand. Not just run around and take whatever was happening to them, but perhaps make a stand and claim a bit of that glory for themselves. And they've barricaded themselves in a conference room, and you can see that they've moved chairs. People are giving first aid. You can see there's a little drone, a security drone or an EMT drone flying, and it comes out the window and it pops up and it says, "Hello, are you in need of medical assistance? I am Raz, EMT drone 1739268.
Thank you. I do not require your assistance yet. Check back in about 2 minutes.
You do realize that at terminal velocity, which is 9.8 meters per second squared, if you fall, you will have far less than 2 minutes for me to provide any medical assistance that you may need before you impact at the ground.
You are, of course, correct. I apologize. Your calculations are on point. But I have to thrash and dangle for a while before I fall. And if the thrash and dangling doesn't quite work out, I'll ask for the assistance.
Very well.
Joe.
And it just kind of sits there bouncing almost like an expectant dog.
Yeah.
Joe.
And I'll get on the radio. Oh, good. I'm sorry. I'll get on radio. Go ahead.
Okay. So seeing Auditor 17's thrash and dangle, Joe will give him the old Christopher Reeve Superman. I've got you, but who's got you?
Well, it's always better to catch them when they're dangling from a fire hose than try to catch them right at the ground, because then you cut them into 3 equal pieces.
So, and I will lift us both in right behind number 13 or Sanjuro. I'm going to keep doing it. Do you need me to do another, either a strength test or an air vehicles test to pull us
I would
in?
like give me a strength test. Sanjuro, as you are the only one to have arrived on the 22nd floor intact, you can see that the bird missile has currently damaged some very nice, very expensive-looking corporate offices. Sparks are flying. Some of the virtual art is malfunctioning. You can't tell if it was originally supposed to be a Picasso or if it's just the damage that makes it look like a Picasso, but it's hanging there on the wall. You can see that there's no one here, and in fact, these offices, sadly, for whatever construction crew comes in here on the day after Christmas, these were the completed offices on this floor. The rest of the floor looks like it's in various state. They're erecting walls. They're fitting out electrical conduits and data lines. But you can see that they have installed sort of the hardened servers here on this floor. That part of the central place seems to have been. There's a couple of pieces of like teak wood that the explosion has thrown into the glass that surrounds the server banks. They did not penetrate them, but you could see a fine network of cracks spreading from them.
All right. I think I'd like to do a quick scouting out of the floor for threats and security.
All right. You want to give me a? Do you want to do this quickly or do you want to do this stealthily?
Oh. That is a difficult choice. I feel that I will do it quickly.
All right. So give me a just give me a mind roll.
Mind or find?
Ooh, give me a find roll.
All right.
What'd you get on your strength check, Joe?
27.
All right. Lifting Auditor 17, and more importantly, maybe also the Living Lands playset. Some box that he is keeping seems to deem worth injuring his body to prevent the packaging from being damaged. You guys land in that same place. Sanjuro is nowhere to be seen.
All right. 14.
Okay, so Sanjuro, you do see, as you quickly make a tour, it's easy, right? Because to your left, there is a bank of offices that have been completed with glass that the tinting hasn't been activated, because why would it be? There's no one actually using them at this point. You got the central banks, you got the elevators, both executive and 3 set of sort of more of the public elevators. And then the far side is completely, like I said, in process. But as you go around, you can definitely see that there is from one of the public elevators, there's 2 sets of bloody footprints and a pair of bloody streak marks on the concrete floor because the carpet hasn't been laid down, and they kind of go off onto the far side towards the not constructed or the not finished area. You can hear someone whispering, "It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. We'll get it under control. You saw what that thing did to Jameson. It tore him in half and then ate him. I thought they said they had it under control."
Well, that sounds like somebody in need of help. So we better go over there and see what's going on.
90 seconds until I check on your health and medical needs, Raz says as he just kind of comes in and floats next to Auditor 17.
I appreciate your diligence. It's commendable.
Auditor 17, now that you can see him more in the light, you can definitely see that this drone has a number of attachments, legs, if you will, that are kind of pulled up under its body. You recognize things like defibrillator nodules. You recognize sets of scissors and trauma surgery field instruments, if you will. The trauma surgery field instruments in several of the injector ports look like they've been recently used. And you can also see on the top, there's a large dent in the top of this drone, as if something heavy kind of fell on it and kind of impacted and actually bent the upper metal of this. And there's a little bit of carbon scoring on it. Its left optical sensor is blue, the traditional kind of for the EMT. The other one kind of flickers between blue and a very festive Christmas green.
Seems legit.
Sanjuro, do you go and investigate? Do you come back? What's the plan?
Oh no, I'm going over to find. I'm following the bloody footprints.
Oh, you're going to follow the bloody footprints. Okay. As you come around the corner, you can see there is a pair of young gentlemen in three-piece suits. Just of the cutting edge of corporate fashion. You can see that they are stained. Your initial thought was something bodily, but then you realize they probably just spilled drinks on themselves. Sadly, their third companion is in bad straits. And what did you get on your find roll?
14.
Do you have any way to get that to a 15, sir?
I have a willpower card, which I will spend.
So as you get to, as you kind of look them over, they haven't noticed that you're there. It's not so much the wound on the stomach that you're worried about, right? It's bad, but he's alive. It's really the wound on the neck, because
I'm drawing my sword.
As they keep pressing on it, one doesn't stop bleeding, and two definitely looks like something bit him. The soft rasp of the sword pulling free of its sheath, the two guys turn. What? Wait. Are you with security?
I'm with someone's security.
Auditor 17, you and Joe can hear that it kind of rings out through the hollowness of this floor. You've got to help us. You've got to help us. There's something down. It crashed the Christmas party.
Did it have an invitation?
Jameis is dead.
With my heightened bird senses, I know that Shanjuro has drawn his sword, and it shall not return to its sheath until blood has been drawn.
That's totally not true.
Oh, okay.
Listen, bird brains, they don't keep a lot of things in there, and so you just gotta go.
So I think we're booking it to catch up with him. I
Needlessly, sir.
Auditor 17, as you walk by, these are the shiny new, not available to the public server racks. This is the bleeding edge stuff. Someone in here just got this is a corporate Christmas gift to the whole executive team, kind of a thing.
Okay. Right. So I also, can I flag down Daz, the drone?
Oh, Raz? Yeah, no, he's just it's just kind of hanging out next to you.
Okay.
Sometimes it doesn't fly level, and it seems to have problems. It kind of keeps drifting to the right, but.
And I'll say it would seem that my need for assistance is less than that individual, so I'll point to the person with the neck issue, perhaps you could be of assistance.
Oh, good,
Excellent.
you're here.
And it goes flying in. You guys, Sanjuro, you see Joe under 17 in this weird medical drone flying in. And it starts with, please state the nature of your, and one of the guys is like, no, that's the thing that started it. He tried to resuscitate Mr. Tagana. And no, keep that thing away from him.
But what was the drone's name again? Raz?
Raz. R-A-Z.
Raz. Can you please perform a self-diagnostic?
Self-diagnostic. Everything is okay.
Run it again. There's something wrong. You're malfunctioning.
He runs it again, and then again, kind of lifts to the right. The eye flashes bright evergreen, and then goes back to blue. No anomalous or damaged sectors in memory detected. You should run a diagnostic.
So I would like to make a science roll to sort of, if he's a bunch of subsystems, is there a way I can exclude the damaged subsystems and the parts of him that are still working can go on, so we can have 70% of Raz as opposed to 100% of strange Raz?
Give me a science roll, and I will say, so this will be a hard roll. But if you can get a good or outstanding success, I will give you more and more information.
I would like to suggest to Auditor 17 that perhaps his batteries were not included.
Thanks, Joe.
All right.
What'd you get, Greg?
That's insufficient, so I'm spending a possibility.
Okay.
Well, that's more promising.
Meanwhile, I want to say, what bit him?
It's 19 total.
Mr. Tagana.
Mr.
19 total?
Tagana.
Yeah. All right. So Auditor 17, you kind of take Raz, gain access to his systems and start working around. And you are able, you can get about, so that there's good news, bad news, good news, bad news. Good news is you get access to him. Bad news is the drone's in cascade failure. Like, he's got maybe 45, 60 minutes before his whole processing shuts down. The good news is you can isolate him and basically get sane Raz in sort of diminishing capacity over the next 45 minutes and not have Raz. The bad news is it's really when you see the biohazard protocols engaged. Looks like Raz was carrying a sample of both the Cure and the Pan Pacifica contagion when it got hit, and it defaulted back to its medical drone responses. And as you kind of pick him up and look underneath there, the Cure is still there. Also, none of the sedatives are there, which is usually the first thing that they would inject into a
Surgical patient
in crisis to kind of get them to calm down so that the drone can do its next stages.
All right. I will pocket the Cure.
And you got all the important stuff. We can't let anything happen to you. You have the Cure and you have the Living Land Dinosaur playset.
Yeah, I mean, even without Dino Action, it's still the hottest Pan Pacifica gift on the market. I just need you guys to know how much I'm enjoying this game right now. Unit RAZ restored. Data banks corrupted, but operating within 80% of standard efficiency. I made a deal.
All right. So I want to ask Raz, can you? I need a diagnostic on these 3 individuals, especially perchance for infection.
It swoops over, and you see, kind of the thin band of light. On the gentleman on the left, minor contusions, several abrasions, and a sprained wrist, ankle, and damage, muscular damage to the upper left side. Analysis: patient fell or was thrown at least 4 meters, and the guy's like, "Yeah, as soon as he," but Raz is already moving on. The guy on the left seems to be okay, like, elevated heart rate, blood pressure is unhealthy. Recommend putting on mild statin dose for optimum heart efficiency. But as the light goes over the guy on the floor, it starts at his feet, and when it hits the stomach wound, it kind of turns orange. Major internal trauma. This unit can provide stability, but this patient will expire in 120 minutes if not brought to a appropriate medical. And when it gets up to his neck, the light turns red and zooms in on the wound on his shoulder. Contagion detected. Recommend incineration. Kanawa Directive 17173.
Or we could try the cure. It's probably less
Whoa,
inflammatory.
Whoa, hold it. We have the cure. Should we not take that cure back to base for analysis?
How many
So by the way, at this point in the year 1 timeline, the contagion has been brought under control.
Yeah.
Like, it has rolled out.
Oh, okay then.
There are still plenty.
How
of
many
infected,
doses
but
do
it's
we
not-
have?
Auditor 17, can you give me a bonus die roll, please?
May I ask you a question, Jam, quickly? If I was to go to the edge of where we blew a hole in the building and look down again at the snow angels that were there, the red snow angels that were there at the beginning of the building, have those patterns changed, or are they just still the same snow angels?
No, they've they now kind of look like people are surrounding them. They kind of spread out a little bit.
I guess what I was trying to say is, will dropping this Nick Frost out of the window save Shaun of the Dead?
What'd you get, Auditor 17?
Infinity symbol, infinity symbol, infinity symbol 1. 16.
Okay, you're pretty convinced. Right, you've read the reports. This vial should be enough to cure should be able to cure or inoculate 4 people.
All right.
Give me that cure.
All right. I don't want to be the killjoy here, but this guy is major internal trauma. Do we want to use this on him?
Hey, this guy's our friend. Do you know how much he's brought in for this company over the last 8 months?
I do not give a frack, buddy.
I know who does. Auditors should look up where this guy is on the chart, and he'll make a legitimate decision on whether he should live or die based on benefit to the company.
That's right. Business case. I'll just whisper to Centurion, but I believe death simply triggers the second stage of the contagion. Yes.
Right. What if I just take his head off?
Both of the guys who are standing next to him, Raz is like, elevated heart rates indicate anxiety or perhaps fear or anger, pupils dilation, and he just starts listing off all of the autonomic responses that these two guys, and they're both like, the one on the right is like, you can't take his head.
It says, I just put my
He's got
finger
a
and go,
giant sword. He's clearly capable of taking off his head. We've got to do something else.
I'm gonna pop open Raz's supply chamber, see if there's a syringe in there, take a dose, inject it into
So the little Raz unit not only provides like immediate trauma care, but has several like backups for actual EMTs on the. So like you like an EMT can disassemble any of Raz's arms to actually have a tool on site, and there are several backups, syringes, alcohol swabs, that kind of thing stored in a supply access like you just grabbed. All right, so you're going to inject one of the cures into this guy. You actually see like his fever goes down. Raz's light on him kind of returns to orange. Protocol 17173 disengaged.
Thank you, Raz. Appreciate that.
all right.
Of course, Auditor 17.
When the guys hear your name out loud, it's Auditor 17, then they were scared before, but now their heart rate goes up to like 180.
Oh my God, is this an audit? Is this whole thing a cover for an audit?
It's just a preliminary investigation. Don't worry. It's a target of opportunity. There's been a breach. We're determining the extent of the breach. So if you could just lead us to the console for the mainframe.
Huh. Oh yeah, I've got my. He kind of stands up. No, I'll stay with him. You go. Oh man, and an audit, and I thought, oh, okay. Listen, two things. One, if you could. He kind of pauses, takes a deep breath. I and Botan, you can put happy to help. Anything you want to mention in my annual review? That would be, and he kind of walks up to the door and hits the key card, puts his hand on the scanner. State of the art. I actually helped install all of this. Do we know yet who's going to take over Mr. Tagana's position?
They just want me to assess the state of the damage.
Right.
I don't get much say in the follow-up.
Listen, okay, I take him, Botan. Here's Raz. Take him back to your friend. Raz is going to administer care to him.
Are you sure? Because he's the drone that started this whole mess.
Trust me. The problem is that there are no sedatives, so it's gonna hurt like a son of a gun. So you're gonna have to be there to hold him down. So off you go.
He pulls out a very large flask.
Maybe you should give that to your buddy.
Do you know how? No, you're right. You're right. And so Raz and Botan kind of head off. You guys, the lights kind of come on. It's very cold in here. You actually kind of taste the stale recycled air.
I'm gonna find a chair or something and block the door.
In front of all of the server banks, there are at about knee height. There are what look to be drawers, but when you hit the button, they kind of pull out, and they're this weird, like a triangle, like an equilateral triangle, and then like another one. And they're basically so that you can hook your knees around them and kind of sit down and have access to the server. But you can definitely rip one or cut one free and use it to jam the door.
Sure, I'll do is cut it off.
All right.
Ching.
Joe, you had your hand raised.
Oh, I just wanted to say to those walking away with Raz. He's got 30 good minutes, and then he is going to go crazy again.
Well,
But that's how it is.
I mean,
We have a timer on it. It's like an oven pizza. The worst thing that could happen is no one eats tonight.
I mean, sure, that's the worst that can happen. Auditor 17, what are you doing?
Well, starting to set up the back door.
All right, give me a computer's roll, and I'll let you know what you find. Now you have root server access here, so this will just be a standard test for you because you actually got somebody with authorization to get you in here.
Yikes.
Oh,
Yeah. So, like, the screen lights up. That's nice. That's very pretty. They've obviously improved their user experience.
Was that
Commendable.
a 1?
No, that was a 2. I don't think you can. Sure, it's worth elevating that. So yeah, we'll just.
I think someone's got a second chance if they want to play it. I'm not saying you have to. Just keeping track of everything.
I do have a hero card here that I could lend to you.
Well, I have second chance. I just if anybody else had computer skill, they might try to take a whack at it.
Give it a shot.
Well, I have a computer skill.
Why don't you do that? Yeah, just.
Oh, all right.
It's almost hypnotic the way it has a little rotating K on it, and it sort of flashes in and out. It's very relaxing.
Oh, look, I also got a 2 on my roll. So, but
Joe, there's something
I wanted to spend
going
a
on.
possibility on this.
I'll play a second chance for his attempt.
Okay. No, it's okay. I just spent a possibility. So all right. That still only got me to a 9. All right.
So now might be where the possibility.
Now where we can spend I already spent the possibility, so now I need the second chance. Unless you're willing to.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you the second chance. Yes.
What do you want for it?
Wait, will a supporter taking you to 12 make the difference?
Yeah, a supporter taking him to 12 will actually get.
Dropping the support, dropping a supporter on that.
All right, so I don't have to describe that scene with the Wilson and the Stiller. Oh, the files are in the computer. All right, so it turns out, Sindro, that is actually just a coffee cup, and there's no way to put the USB drive in there. But as you start to upload the backdoor from your Zuzu, you also see as the screen starts going through the data, there's corporate data here. I mean, Auditor 17 system's already making a copy of this. There's corporate data. There's high-level strategic planning data. And the thing that really disturbs you is it looks like the Kano Corp is planning to expand their holdings. And I don't just mean like hostile takeovers of other corporations in Marketplace or in Pan Pacifica. They, much like the rumors that you have heard, the news that you have seen of Istanbul sort of being a new battleground between Tharkold and the Nile Empire, or the fact that the cyber papacy has swooped in and subsumed part of Brazil. These are not just takeover plans. You would call these invasion plans. Plans for new Stela. Plans for new conquests in core Earth. Things the Delphi Council desperately needs to find. And therefore, the third MacGuffin goes to Auditor 17. And that's probably not a great thing, because if he dies, then...
Right. We'll make some extra
the computer, right?
Oh, that's
yeah,
should have it.
I'm making a copy of that one.
Yeah.
And
Christmas is not ruined if Auditor 17 passes.
oh no, he's got the Living Land Dino playset.
Telling you, that MacGuffin is going to be reoccurring and substantial.
If he ever stops being an auditor, his name will be Captain MacGuffin.
He
No,
goes to the Nile Empire. That will
it'll be Uncle Seb. It'll be Uncle Seb.
At this point, you start to hear the screams that let you know that Raz is doing the best he can, but which is still way better than what he was doing apparently like 90 minutes earlier. And that's when the lights flicker. You can hear the screeching noise of elevator doors being forced open. The building's in lockdown, so the doors have been sealed. So you can actually hear the metal of the security locks being sheared and forced apart.
All right. So, Joe, when this is done, get my phone. And I go,
Popping noises.
yes, popping noises. They actually did pop. So, and I walk back out into the corridor to the towards the elevators.
All right. As you get around, you can see bright lights from where you left the three corporate executives. The Raz's kind of blanketed the area with just bright lights so it can do what it needs to. Thankfully, the screams stop as you step out into the hall. But what you see when you come around the corner is a man, shirt cut open, suit jacket missing, half of a bow tie kind of flapping in the wind, or not in the wind, in the currents of air, because you blew a hole in the side of the building with a bird missile. Did I mention the bird missile? Have I said that enough? And as you come around the corner, you can see this man's skin has puckered and tightened. You can see it looks as if somebody has taken like the skin on the back of this person's neck and pulled it almost obscenely tight. You can also see where it's walking strangely, and you can actually hear cracking noises as it moves, as if its bones are shifting a little bit and maybe lengthening as it moves around. And you have been here long enough in Pan Pacifica. You know a Zhangxi when you see one, although this is one like you haven't seen before. You can see burn marks where the defibrillator paddles have kind of like, burned the skin, raising blisters. There's blood and viscera on this person's mouth. You can see its fingernails have almost pulled longer and tighter, as if the skin has pulled back. You're not sure if you're seeing fingernails or the finger bones poking out. And completing the horrific scene, a red cap, white fur, splattered with blood. The words "Merry Christmas" written across the top of it. And it turns towards you, and you see it's crouching as if it is going to leap.
All right. Okay, I'm going to say, Konnichiwa, Tagana-sama. And I draw my sword.
All right. I feel like that is a perfect part to stop for tonight and pick up next week. We'll start off with the fight with the Zhangxi, and we'll go from there.
All right.
Bureau G, thank you so much. I know I mentioned this to you guys back in October, and I have been just so excited to run this for you guys. This is a perfect way for me to end out. I feel like a holiday special at the end of every year is something we're just going to have to make a tradition on the Ulysses International channel. Chat, as always, thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this. If you like Bureau G, go check them out on the Ulysses International YouTube channel. You can just type in Bureau G and you should be able to find them. Check out all of the other great things on the Ulysses International channel. The Fading Suns game on Thursday is coming to an end. We have an entire backlog of a Fading Suns campaign that ran for almost 4 years. We've got 2.5 years of the Eternity Shard, B Team, Horseman, Bureau G sort of melange campaign. Check Phantom of Truth. Thank you. Put in the Ulysses shop. If you like Torg, go buy Torg. It's awesome. If you run games online like we do, I know that Foundry, if you are using Foundry, has a great Torg rule set to download, and I believe they're supporting on the Ulysses store. You can get the core rules as a marketplace purchase for Foundry. The Foundry interface, I'm going to do a little video on this later, early next year. The Foundry interface is amazing. When you make your die roll, it has just along the bottom, possibility, hero, up, drama, +3 cards. So you can very quickly, when you're playing online, hit the buttons and have it automatically roll, re-roll, calculate. It's got the perks and the equipment. You can just hit a button and it not only does it roll for you, but it drops the information for your GM, the other players, to see what you're using. Again, highly recommend it. It's a great tool for running Torg online. To everyone who has followed us here for 2021, thank you so much. I know it has been a long year. It's been a long couple of years for all of us. And I'm just grateful to have you all here celebrating Torg's Day night in December with us and with Bureau G. We will be back next week to wrap up our Torg's Day streaming season with the second half of the Stupidest Drone. Check us out on Thursday when we finish up the Fading Suns campaign. Penultimate episode this Thursday, finale next Thursday. We'll also have a bit of a post-mortem where we discuss our thoughts on Fading Suns after running it for 3.5, 4 years. So until next time, thank you to Bureau G. Wonderful to have all of you here. Thank you to Phantom and JD, our producers and our moderators. You guys are, you make it look easy. And to all of our fans, thank you for joining us. And until next time, this is Bureau G. I am JM, your GM. This is the Ulysses International channel. Please consider following here on Twitch and on YouTube. Subscribe. Thank you to Rookcat for the sub bomb. And we will be back next week. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay gaming. Have a good one.